Kurt Schilling now joins us, our Baseball Tonight analyst. Kurt, a lot of people, and you know this better than anybody, baseball's a team game, not an individual game. The idea of Cano going to Seattle, what does it say to you?
That they have money to spend, period. I mean, listen, I like Robinson Cano. I think he's a very good player. But we tend to get caught up, Carl, talking about things that really we shouldn't really care about. I don't care how the Mariners spend their money. I care that they do spend it, that their fan base. I heard you talking, and I agree. It's a great city, a great city. When the Mariners were good, that place was electric to be at. But this doesn't make them contenders. I don't think by any stretch of anyone's imagination does this put them in the mix of the AL West. I have yet to see, and then we've talked about this, especially the last 4 or 5 years, a deal like this that ends up paying itself out or being worth it even 4 or 5 years into it. And he's 31 years old. I mean, so you're looking at a guy that at age 36 will be halfway through a deal making $24 million a year as an AAV.
Understood about the money. You do have Felix Hernandez out there. You have Iwakuma who can pitch. You now add Cano. Given that division, remember a couple of years ago, you and I were sitting there saying, well, the A's are good, and the A's have been in the playoffs the last couple of years. How far off, relative to that division, can the Mariners really be if they can add a couple of pieces?
Well, I mean, you're talking about a ballpark that makes everybody's pitching staff better. That's a ballpark where the Mariners have Felix Hernandez is Felix Hernandez, and they do have some good young pitching. But that's a ballpark where staffs that come in there are better by default because of the dimensions. I don't know that I worry about game planning for an offense where I've got to pitch around one guy. And I'm not saying they don't have other offensive players. They have some nice complementary players, but this is not a guy that goes out and hits 335 with 45 homers and 140 ribbies, especially in that ballpark. I mean, you're looking at a guy that's he's going to be a 310, 315 hitter. He's going to hit his 20 to 30 home runs. That's a guy that complement. That's a Dustin Pedroia that complements a David Ortiz. There is no David Ortiz in this lineup, and I don't agree that this is the kind of guy that brings other players to the city. I don't ever remember in my situation or in others a player going somewhere because one other player was there.
Well, if Felix Hernandez can't do that alone, and perhaps Felix Hernandez did do that by helping Cano make that decision. On the other side, it's ironic. The Mariners make this deal. You figure they then have to make another deal to help that offense. And on the Yankees side, I wonder what the global perspective is. Are they more dangerous now having more money to spend, or would they have been more dangerous with Cano and a $170 million contract?
Well, I don't like when I don't like when I don't know where the Yankees are. I mean, they've got a lot of money, and Brian Cashman's got a lot of options. I don't like that. I like knowing. I would have liked, if I'm in the AL East, I would have liked to have think they're going to put all the rest of their eggs in this basket, the Cano basket, because then I know, pitching-wise, there's some issues and all the things that go with that. Now, they're in on everybody now. And that becomes a problem for me if I'm another club, because this ends up being a situation where teams that were planning on going out and getting a decent deal on a pitcher in the market now have to contend with the Yankees driving the price up on everybody.